So whether you're a content creator, entrepreneur, or side hustler, at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is gain recognition, build authority, especially as a thought leader, and provide value at some sort of scale. What you're trying to do is build your personal brand. And when we're talking about building your personal brand here, we're talking about positioning you and your genius and all of the amazing things that you're bringing onto this online space in a unique way. And by adding your own little flair, this is how you're standing out from your competitors or the peers within your space. So building a brand is not just about, logos and colors and fonts. No. We're going deep here. It's about the brand personality and what do you stand for and what makes you unique. Why should people care? What's in it for them? That's what's at the core of the brand essence. And now here's the thing that not many people talk about. Everyone has a brand, right? Whether you are intentionally building it or not, everyone has a brand. Your brand is that thing that comes to mind when people say your name. Whether it's good or bad, that thought, that picture, that visual, that feeling, that's your brand. So whether you are intentionally doing or not, you already have one. And so what you want to do is take that by the hand and be intentional and strategic in building your own brand. Because if you're not building your brand, other people will build it for you, and you don't want that. And especially in this creator economy, there are more people entering this space. And so the question will come up, why should I pay attention to you versus this person over here and over here? You guys are all saying the same thing, so what makes you so special? But have no fear, it is not too late for you to build your brand. This year, today, starting now. You're ready for the challenge? Are you ready to take a deep dive into this? Okay, ready, set, let's go.
Hey there, I'm Renee from Raw Branded, and I help aspiring entrepreneurs to identify and package their unique story and genius into an authentic brand and business that attracts their soulmate clients.
Okay, my darlings, so you're trying to build your personal brand. The first thing you want to have is some sort of purpose or story. You want to take people along their journey so they can see themselves in you through your story. Particularly when you're building a coaching business, you want to make sure that your clients can see and mirror themselves in you. They can see that, okay, you went through XYZ struggles and then you had XYZ outcomes, okay? You went from here to there, you went from A to B, and somewhere along the line, there was a resolution. But even though I may not know what all the concrete steps are to get to that resolution, I understand that journey. I know what it's like to be at A and I want to get to B, and that's why I'm turning to you. Everywhere in between, that's where your story comes into play. So you want to have that just so you can make that human connection with your ideal audience. And this is not something that we're making up here. This is something that's real, raw, and authentic. Your real, raw branded story. That's what you want to bring to the forefront. That's part of your personal brand and what makes you stand out. Some people call this your origin story, your superhero story, however you want to label it. That raw branded story, that's what we're getting to the heart of. And it's tied to what you're doing now. It's instrumental to where you are today. This is now the backstory. And the beautiful thing about storytelling is that it sticks in our minds and it helps you to be more memorable. This is going back in time where stories were passed down generation by generation. They weren't always written. They were sometimes vocally told. It was passed down to generations because these were important things that we wanted to keep in mind and stay in our memory. And this is the same thing that we do today. So the goal in your storytelling is to have your potential clients to see themselves in you. It's part of establishing like and trust and for them to warm up and to like you, to want to work with you. That's what your story does for you and your business. The second thing you want to do is pick your area of expertise. What's your niche? What is the space you're working within? And you want to do this for several reasons. One is for advertising. Once you get to the point of brand partnerships, it'll be easy to recognize you as a partner because other brands, bigger brands, will know that, okay, I know what you're doing in this space. I know what your niche is. This may be the right connection. You're someone who's in the tech space. Maybe you're a coach who's coaching on using XYZ platform or tools, then of course it makes sense that you partner with XYZ company. software company, or maybe it's a camera or a computer company, something that's in your space where it makes sense. But before that can happen, those brands will need to know, what are you doing? So it makes it easier if it's very crystal clear what your expertise is. And that also is helpful for your audience, because then again, goes back to being at the top of people's minds. They'll remember what you do, and it's easy for them to recall, okay, so I know you're in this space. I know that you're a business coach. I know that you are a cooking coach. I know you're a finance coach. I know that you're a life coach even. It's easy for them to know this because you've made it clear, you've said this. And once that becomes clear and people can see that you can actually deliver the goods, this is where you start to have some sort of authority in your space. You've communicated it clearly and you're showing up clearly, delivering as you promised, so it's easy for people to find you and to know you. And again, going back to liking, knowing, and trusting you. And even if you're trying to figure out your niche and you're branching out into different areas, eventually you want to come back to a set area of expertise where you're the specialist, you're the expert in. So if you're still trying to figure this out, what is my expertise, what's my niche? Okay, go broad. And I have a whole video on niching down that you can check out. The link is in the description. Go broad, explore your areas, try to figure it out, and then niche down in order to blow up your business. Third thing you want to do is to have your brand archetype and aesthetic. So what I'm talking about here is, in a nutshell, it's your brand personality. There are 12 brand archetypes. This is going back to psychologist Carl Jung, and 12 archetypes are those 12 personality types, basically characteristics of different brands. And this is something that I do with my clients. I make it a fun activity where they can look through the brand archetypes and pick one that resonates with them. And it just helps to guide you and get a sense of what feels like you, what feels like your personality, in what direction do you want to head in. And again, we're talking about showing up uniquely and authentically and connecting with the right audience. And before you can do this, it means going within and getting a sense of, well, what's my voice? What's my brand voice? How do I want to sound? How do I want to look, feel? How do I want to show up? What do I want to say? What do I stand for? And how do I showcase that I stand for that thing? So it's one and the same. It's both going within and finding out, well, what is at that core? What is that core messaging, that core belief? And then how does it present itself? That's what you're basically doing. So what you want to do as you're going in is take those amazing attributes that you have. Take your amazing voice, take your amazing beliefs, take your amazing spirit, and then you're going to package it with all the brand aesthetics that make it really stand out. So when you're doing this, you're getting crystal clear on what words do you use and what words don't you use. What do you typically say and what do you typically not say? So for instance, if we're going back to Carl Jung and those personality types, we're thinking, well, is your brand a little bit more feminine? Is it something a little bit more on the lines of Louis Vuitton? Or are you a Chanel girl? Is that your style? Is it very posh? Is that your approach to working with your clients too? See, maybe your brand is more sassy. When I think of sassy, I think of Altoids brand campaign, which will forever stick in my mind. And I'm talking about this is easily over a decade ago. Go back to Altoids when they were really a bigger brand. They had an amazing campaign that to this day, and maybe it's because, branding and marketing, I'm in this space, so it's burnt in my brain. But their campaign that they used over a decade ago was about having curiously strong mints. And they had like these throwback drawings to highlight the brand campaign, the print campaign at the time. It just stood out. It was so different, and they were making themselves different from gum or any other mints because it was just packed with personality, and it was sassy. That's what I think of when I'm thinking of that kind of brand. It's doing what you do uniquely, and I love that. So kudos to those people who worked on that whole campaign, because to this day that's in my mind. So then maybe your personality type is educational, and when I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about working in the educational space, and that's getting to the heart of my background. Working with schools, universities, K-12 schools. What is that like? Is it very academic? Is it fun? What is that personality that you're putting fourth. At the end of the day, it all ties together. One serves the other. The messaging, the personality is served by the aesthetics. It all ties together. And if you're wondering about color, there's a whole psychology behind that as well in terms of what colors are you using. That is basically getting to setting the tone. So again, if your brand is a little more feminine, maybe you're using colors like pinks and purples, as opposed to if you're doing something that's more in the meditation space, then maybe you're implementing a little bit more blues and greens because you're trying to project and convey a more calming feel. Yes, there's a whole psychology and a purpose behind it. So if you're thinking about, well, how does that translate into how I myself show up? Not just my website, my logos, my font, but me myself as the brand, the product. How do I show up? Well, that's in how do you dress when you're coming up online? What colors are you wearing? How are you styling yourself? How does your voice sound? Who are you? Okay? And this should not be anything, again, nothing inauthentic, nothing rehearsed. It has to be real because people see right through fakeness, but it's more of being aware, being more insightful, doing the self-reflection and thinking through what is my brand and what do I want to amplify so that people can see that essence, that me. What is that and how am I going to package that? And if you need help with trying to nail down how to consistently package your colors, your font, hex code, personality types, then do know that I do sell a brand guide. Link to that is also below so that you can use that to just keep track of how you are showing up. How are you conveying your personal brand? So the link to that is also below. So the next thing you want to do is to have content that supports your brand. So in doing that, what I'm talking about is to identify 3 to 4 brand pillars. Go with the 3 to 4 because it's manageable. And what you're doing by having brand pillars is that you're basically saying these 3 or 4 buckets are the 3 or 4 content types, topics that I will always address when showing up online. These 3 to 4 things, I'm always talking about that. Now I know that for some of you, you may be thinking, oh, that's a little limiting. I don't always want to talk about those topics. But here's the thing. You can always talk about pop culture. You can reference current events and pull that into how does that connect with those 3 to 4 buckets that I always talk about. Why do you want to do that? Because then you're making your content relevant, you're making it consistent, and it's connected to, again, your business and your brand and what you're doing. You don't want to branch out talking about something way out here. It has to make sense. It has to be connected. So having those pillars will keep you focused and also makes it easier for you to create content. And if it's easier for you to create content, then you'll consistently do it. It'll be easier. You're lessening the barriers so that you can make sure that you're always showing up and putting your business out there. You have a full-time job and then you're also a part-time content creator. That makes the content creation easier so that you're always marketing your services. The fifth thing you can do is pick a platform that is aligned with your strengths and will help you to showcase your brand. This is going to serve you very well because the whole purpose is to show up online, not just for show and tell, not just for entertainment value or infotainment value. What you're trying to do is to direct your potential clients to your website, right? You want to direct them to your website, a web page, a sales page. You want them to work with you ultimately. So part of this exchange is so that they become comfortable with you. They can see your expertise. See, is this the right vibe? Do I want to work with this person as a coach? This is where showing up as a creator serves you. But then don't lose track of the ultimate goal, which is to have a profitable and authentic and viable business. Once they're going through making those connections with you, then those are other touch points so they can get a better sense of your brand. When they're landing on your webpage, what is the brand? They opt into your list. What is that brand experience? It should be all connected. So don't lose track of that as well. So in terms of showing up on those platforms, again, have a strategy. Are you just doing short form content like on TikTok, or are you doing short? Think about that and what does that look like? How are you putting that into your marketing arsenal? Just pick one platform to start with. I advise you to do that to make it manageable when you're first starting, because remember, there's going to be a learning curve and you're going to challenge yourself to show up consistently. So pick one platform and double down on it and learn that platform. Learn what is the algorithm, what are other brands doing in this space. Look within your niche, look outside of your niche, get familiar with it so you get more comfortable. You are also being kind to your energy and making sure that it's balanced and that your brand connects with the spaces or space that you are showing up on.
Now, at this point, you may be asking yourself, how can I become that amazing coach, that wonderful guide who can take my clients from good to great? Well, have no fear, because I want to introduce you to The Product Is You. In The Product Is You, you'll learn how to create an authentic brand and business that will allow you to attract your ideal clients. We walk through the whole process of validating your offer, creating your authentic brand, setting up content creation and marketing strategies to attract your soulmate clients, and ultimately creating an authentic and profitable business that feels good to you and your clients. We go through the whole process, step by step by step. Once again, the link for more information is down below, so check that out.
So if you like this video, then like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you can keep on seeing videos like this one in your feed. Thank you so much for watching, and of course, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.